FedEx full, we command in the block. Burgundy and gold, got the city on lock. Hustling plays, they don't need to pretend. DC reppin' strong and we fight to the end. Command is moving, no breaks, no pause. Hands in the dirt, respecting the call. K-Dot in the mid, dissect the grind. District divider with a city in mind. Trying to dance why, don't miss a bit. And you gotta spread the words, so shit is shit. K-Dot.
They don't ask how, they ask how many. Welcome to District Divided, a DC Sports podcast, more specifically, a Washington Commanders podcast. I am Amit. That is K-Dot. This is a Shades Monday. The Washington Commanders find a way to get it done. 20-19 win on the road against the New Orleans Saints, moving on to 9-5. And we are going to go to our post-game thoughts. We are going to talk about the NFC Playoff Race, Comment Mailbag, as we always do. But before we begin this episode, if you could please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do, and K-Dot.
Just like the, I'm not going to call it normal Bible, but Christian Bible or the Torah or the Quran, sometimes the biblical word can bring forth art. So I have a poem brought to you by the Gibbs Bible that I just felt inspired to write. O Lord of the gridiron, hear our cry. For burgundy and gold, we rise up high. Through dumb refs' hands and a saint's last stand, you held us steady as we took command. Now, Lord, please let JD's arm and Terry's might guide us forward in the playoff fight. And to all who doubt, last warning to commit. Now spread these truths and share this shit.
Share this shit. Beautifully written there, K-Dot. Beautifully written there. And awfully close to not being able to write that. And with that, let's go ahead and get into the post-game thoughts. And I feel it's probably most appropriate to start at the end because it was this sort of slow... It was this, hey, we're in control. It's comfortable. I'm watching the game with Ridge Where Your Helmet At, where after like a random incompletion on 2nd and 10, when the score is 17-7, he goes, we're going to lose this game 21-20. And they're going to score as time expires, and they're going to go for 2, and they're going to make it. And that is just, that seed is planted. And you see the game slowly unraveling the way it is. And oh my goodness, the finish. K-Dot, what'd you make of it?
Are we talking about the finish or the whole product?
I mean, let's talk about the finish first, but the whole product after.
The finish just it reiterated how angry I was. I was angry the whole game. I don't know if everybody else felt the same way I did, but I just felt I almost at the end of it was like, you guys don't deserve this one. Like I was like, there go the Saints have balls. Like they're gonna go for it. I was like, they deserve this one. And at least Mr. Sassafras ain't gonna be the one to beat us. Spencer Rattler. That's at least what was going through my head. I just kept thinking if Alvin Kamara stayed healthy, I think it's lights out. There was no reason to keep them in that fucking game. And I get it. Everybody's gonna talk about the refs, and we'll talk about a little more about that shit. No, I'm with Ridge Where Your Helmet At, and I fucking know those words just hurt to say, but it's like this one just didn't feel comfortable. I know at the end of the day, we won. And we're still in the playoff hunt, especially after what happened tonight. We're going to talk about that. Also, it's just, I'm happy we won, but I'm disappointed with everything at the end. And everything throughout the game, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, it was a game where we were initially in control. Like, you know, at 17-0, you're like, okay, cool. Rolling a little bit. This is nice. And then at the same time, you're just like, wait a minute. You're allowing these guys to hang around. All of a sudden, they start getting some momentum. And like Ridge Where Your Helmet had said, okay, we could begin to envision a pretty scary scenario over here that was beginning to unfold. And at the end, similar thought. I was like, hey, we don't deserve to win this game. But thankfully, we did. I thought Jayden overall played pretty well. The news coming out before the game of Tyler Biadasz being out was big. Right. And you could tell because he gets sacked 8 times. So in terms of who's calling out the protections, we maybe got an answer to that. 8 sacks with Jayden Daniels over there. Michael Dieter filling in, admirably so. But it's different when you lose your starting center with 90 minutes before the game, you know, over an illness like that. So you had to overcome that. Then Greg Joseph We have some more kicking woes. He made a kick. Great. There was also, it was just a stressful game, I think is what I'm rounding out to. It's a stressful game. Jayden played well. I wanted to run more, but okay. We didn't. Whatever. But again, they don't ask how, they ask how many. We got it done, K-Dot. But it was a stressful game. It was a stressful game, a disappointing game. But thankfully, we got the win coming off this bye. That's all I got, honestly.
God damn it. I feel like I'm about to be the bitch of this pod. You say admirable job by Michael Dieter. I say okay. Tyler Biadasz being out ruined a lot when it came to this game. But I knew going into this game, we knew that if there's one thing that we thought that we'd be able to do against this particular team was run the fucking football. 137 yards. It's like right around what we average, right? Like per game. Like so pretty normal as far as that goes. But I think the troubling stat, if you look down there at the bottom at Brian Robinson, 21 carries, 65 yards. That includes a 20-yard run, which means he was at 20 carries, 45 yards against the New Orleans Saints. Biadasz to me had a lot to do with that as far as him being out when it came to the inside running, them just not getting the push that they needed. I understand a lot of people's thought process where it's like, well, I wish we would have ran more. I mean, if you Jayden 11 times, Robinson 21 times.
Yeah. And so just to clarify, I wanted.
No, you may be right, because the other thing with the box score is look at that time possession.
Yeah. No, I mean, what I'm saying is like, I've liked what I've seen out of McNichols. I've liked what I've seen out of Chris Rodriguez. I wanted to see them also be involved. I think so. I'm talking more about the distribution of the carries and wanting that to be a bit better. I'm not saying bring Brian Robinson, down to like 11 or 12. Not at all. I'm just saying add carries to McNichols, add carries for Rodriguez to help settle an offensive line down.
I guess so, but I also I don't think the offensive line had a great day. I especially look at the interior as far as what it is they did with the run blocking was just not up to snuff. I didn't see the all-22. I think is going to be very frustrating. I mean, I didn't see them pulling guys the way that they typically do, and maybe that's because they didn't have Biadasz to do it. Outside of those things, I mean, we can get the penalties, like the lack of execution just overall with a lot of things in the game. I just never felt like we felt settled, and there was ever, to me, there was never a rhythm in the game at all offensively. It felt as though I was with you kind of screaming at the screen, like, who are we? Right. And that was mainly around the red zone with, you got goal to go and we're not just going to run with Robinson and punch you in the mouth. We're not doing that. Okay. I don't understand that because once again, I thought that was supposed to be what we are. It was that do hard shit with good people. What? That to me is, it's coming and we're going to do it anyway. Why? Because you suck and we're awesome. That's what I thought the energy was going to be. And we didn't do it. There was no push as far as that goes. I don't think giving McNichols or Rodriguez would have done any better than Robinson as far as generating any actual rushing attack. There was a lot of Jayden. Look, Jayden played for a rookie damn well. Damn well. That being said, of those 8 sacks, can't wait to watch the all-22. I'm saying at least 3 or 4 of them bitches were on him, not the offensive line. There were also times where he's holding on the goddamn football entirely too long. And I don't know if they're doing a great job in coverage. Maybe that's the case, and the all-22 is going to show that. But I definitely know that there were a couple plays where there was one play where I know the read was to the right, but you got Zacchaeus wide the fuck over to the left. And he's not looking that way at all before he's ready to fucking take off. There were moments, especially early on in the game, where it looked like he wanted to run. There were moments in the game where I kind of thought that he was kind of playing hero ball, at least his version of hero ball. I wanted him to settle down a bit. The boom bapness of it all was non-existent. They did, if I'm giving positives, they finally learned. Get Terry involved and get him involved as often as you possibly can, right? And I don't even want to give him too much shit about the 3 lost touchdowns to Terry as far as them 2 not connecting on those. Terry's stat line at the end of this game should have been insane. Like, it should have been insane, but
there should have been an 8th catch for a large chunk of yards and a 3rd touchdown. Yeah.
So, and then if I'm looking at, to me, the first half was not about us dictating as much as Jake Haener sucks. Like, he's just bad. He's bad. Like, there was no getting around. He played like ass. There's a reason he got pulled out of the game. Like, to me, that was what I saw. It was like, oh, they just have no one at quarterback. Like, this is going to be, all right, cool. Easy going, right? Kamara was, look, we were doing what we could in the run game, which we knew was going to be the case, right? Stop the run, let the quarterback beat you. And that was the game plan on defense. Shout out to Marshon Lattimore.
Fantastic debut.
Unless they were talking about the transaction itself, which, thank God you're here. Thankfully, even Mike Sainristil being able to get the pick. Like, what I loved about it was that they weren't stationary. They were moving all over. I saw Sainristil in the slot. I saw him on the outside. It looks like the winning trio is Lattimore, Sainristil, and Noah in the slot, or some sort of combination of that. St. Juice, I ain't got nothing really positive to say about you, buddy, because your name got brought up with some awesome.
One great.
Yeah, you got that snap count. I'm actually curious to see what his snap count percentage was.
Oh, I'll have to find that for you, but it felt like 2, right? And we noticed and one of them.
Yeah, like, not great. Tough. We knew. Look, Jayden on the ground. I saw in this game everything that made me know that Jayden Daniels is a physical freak, and he's going to be able to do some things that other guys, breaking out of some of those sacks in order to try to get a run going. Like, there was shit that he was doing in the game where you're like, yeah, that motherfucker's special. He's special. And then there are tons of things that I was looking at the game and was like, you don't have to do that, son. Like, that's all I was saying. That's all I was. It's like, that was unnecessary, son. And that's the thing, is like, once again, the All-22 is going to let me know, were the receivers just covered? Like, did he just have nowhere to throw the ball? If I'm basing it on the stuff that I've seen earlier this season, I'm going to say there were probably opportunities, but I don't know until I see the tape.
Yeah, at least from some of the sacks I do remember, it did feel like people were covered. And then I think about the passer rating that the Saints have given up all year, and I go, okay, you know what? I think they actually were covered. But I'm sure on an all-22 view, you're going to see 1 or 2 people open on these plays. So I'm curious to see what you have over there.
It's the combination of, like, to me, it was this, what I didn't see. It didn't feel like it was going through the progressions and getting to, like, his 2nd or 3rd read a lot in this game, to me, anyway. It happened a couple times, maybe, but, like, I think, like, was it the Senate play, maybe? But it was, it just didn't feel like I was going through all the progressions, like making a hit that he wanted to hit. It was like, all right, 1, 2, and then trying to see whether or not he wanted to thread the ball in there. And trust me, there were some balls that he was throwing. It was just fucking immaculate. The throw to Terry in the end zone was like, Jesus Christ, there's but a few human beings ever in the history of the league that could have made that fucking throw, right? But even there were a couple ones that you see him kind of gunshot before he goes. Like, there were a couple throws that I know he did, like the pump fake, but I don't think it was a pump fake for the defense as much as, no, oh shit, no, all right, here we go. That's what I thought it was.
On second thought, yeah.
Right. And I'm not, like, it sounds like I'm Jayden bashing, but he's clearly the biggest star that we have on the field. And I reiterate, the dude for a rookie was insane. You can't really ask much more of that. Much more from him than what it is that he did today. He did try at moments to put the team on his back. And I don't think that the team was there to necessarily reciprocate. If there's a pie of blame, the smallest sliver is going to your man, Jayden Daniels.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, he's the biggest reason we won. Let's also start there. Like, he's definitely on the positive side of things. We tend to get nitpicky just because if you're new to the channel, like, we have very, very high expectations of the kid already. He's just been that good. So when we talk about it, we're like, man, we've seen the superstar shit we've talked about in the past. And so then we talk about this, we go, okay, yeah, maybe today, maybe he held it a little too long at times. So trying to be a hero back in Louisiana, there could have been some stuff there for sure. But definitely a net positive over there. Marshon Lattimore, another positive that we had touched on. I believe he wasn't targeted at all. I know he wasn't targeted deep in the 4th quarter, and I think that continued to hold true. So Marshon Lattimore's impact already felt. And I'm just trying to think. And again, I guess we did get the ball to Brian Robinson. That's 20 plus carries for him, which is good, but it wasn't efficient, unfortunately. Once again, this does result in a win. Something I do want to talk about, and we normally don't make us think about it, but the referees were an interesting crew this time. I mean, between the time at the end of the game, between some of the roughing the passer calls, between the field goal at the end of the third quarter where the clock hit 0 for 5 seconds and no one said anything. All these refs there, no one blew their whistle. Greg Joseph misses. Then they go, oh, by the way, the quarter ended. Yeah, our bad. Like, this reffing crew was probably the worst we've had all year.
After the punt.
What did you say?
Tressway being in a sea of bodies after the button on the fucking ground.
I mean, just terrible reffing crew. I don't know what you thought, but man, it stuck out. It definitely stuck out for me.
Yeah, I think that like the three most controversial ones, if we want to play through them, is probably the 2 roughing calls on Dante Fowler, and then the clock situation at the end of the game. So I can play them.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Absolutely. So I think this is the first roughing. He's kind of high, but it's like it's not really. He's got his hand on the shoulder pad more than he's got him as far as like the face mask or anything. I think what it is that after the force pushes him back, it looks as though like his shoulder pad kind of gets on his face mask and that. I don't think that is something you call, just because it felt very incidental and it didn't feel like he was really going for the face at all. It didn't feel like he wasn't trying to choke him out or anything either. Like to me, that would be like one of those ones I classify as ticky-tacky.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It was ticky-tacky, but I could also understand it from maybe the angle of the referee. But the next one I thought was worse. The next one was like, as in worse call. That should not have been called, in my opinion. Yeah, this one. Thanks for playing this. This I did not think was roughing the passer.
I thought that if anybody was going to get Dorrance Armstrong might have got it at the end, but then I saw that he was kind of pushing off the offensive lineman more than it was the quarterback. But that I thought that when I first did the replay, I was like, that's not on Fowler. Like, is that on Armstrong? Because it was just like the little bit at the end is the only thing that I looked at that could be anything. That looks clean to me. That was the only thing I thought was maybe forearm to maybe the helmet area from 92, but that doesn't even look like it was the case. But once again, going off an angle or something, it just wasn't great. It was for a ref crew that was already up until that point having a very, very sloppy game. Like that to me was just like, you guys are just kind of all over the place right now.
Right. And then of course we have the clock situation at the very end, which was just comical.
Just also messy on their part. But if you look at the top clock, the clock there at the top, and this is from Hogsty on Twitter, this is just to let everybody know that while it was a fucking mess and they didn't do a great job of it, without a shadow of a doubt, they did have enough time to get the ball and to stop the clock. So it had no bearing on the outcome of the game itself. If you want to look at which ones had more bearing on the outcome, it'd be the 2 roughing calls. And if you're going to look at the roughing calls, yes, you could blame it in this game, but I'm sorry. There's at least one roughing call in every fucking NFL game that everybody, the amount of times my phone goes off during the day. What the fuck was that soft shit? And it's like, yeah, okay, I get it. Like, I'm not one to bitch about the reffing. It's just there was so much, and then to see the response they gave post game to the reporters was fucking hilarious. Which is the Pro Football Writers Association. Do we want to read it or just have everybody read it? So?
Yeah, I mean, I'll leave that up to you. It was funny. I remember reading through this and being like, oh my goodness, you got to be like, we won't read through the whole thing, but just, was there any consideration of reviewing the stoppage? Was there anything that you could have done after the fact? No, it is not a situation that is reviewable in reference to the time that was saved. And then when were you all aware of the mistake, which is just a brilliant question. And then that's all I have for you, Luke. Okay. Like, we messed up is basically like, yeah, like
we fucked this up. Let's roll.
Yeah. The moment he drops his first name, he's like, Luke, relax, man. Like that's when you know he's just fed up. And he's like, yeah, I know we screwed up and it was bad. But the reffing crew did not have a great day. Fortunately, didn't have an impact on the outcome at the very end there.
Yeah, we won the game, so there's less bitching than there would have been. It's just a bad look overall for the reffing crew. But there's, under no circumstances am I blaming anywhere close to the refs for this game being as close as it was. And if we had lost that game, I don't think there'd be any way, shape, or form to blame the rest for the loss. There was too many other shit happening. I'm still being I'm not being as harsh as I want to be.
No, I know. It was just a weird game, man. It was just a really, really weird game.
Look, Jayden, the fumble near the goal line. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Hold on a goddamn ball, son. Like, what are you doing? He had that goofy fucking smile on his face. Am I near the goal line? Like,
I think he thought he was down, honestly.
No.
I think he did because he was just sort of like,
just no. Stop, bro. Just stop. The same thing I told you early in the season. Like, get your chin strap straight. Like, you did that, right? You've been sliding a whole hell of a lot better. Hold on the fucking football in the goal line, Jayden. Yeah, the offense completely out of rhythm, even on the initial scoring drive, which there was another penalty that got us to keep going.
Yeah, actually, like Greg Joseph makes his first one. Right. Then there's the personal foul. Yeah.
It was all sporadic. Like, it never felt as though we were in any sort of rhythm. It was just like, stuff is happening. Oh, shit, Jane just did something. And then, we got stuff 3 times in a row. Okay, it's a Terry McLaurin. Okay, what's going to happen? We punted the ball. What? But then even if you look at the amount of drives that we had, I think it was 8 drives in the game. We scored on like 6 of them. That's good. I don't fucking know. Like, it just didn't feel good at any given point in time. That's not our football. James great, but nothing else worked. I don't know what the fuck that was. The fucking rollout. What are you doing? You got Brian Robinson. Just run the ball. Just do it. I don't give a fuck. Even if they stuff us, I take that. You got to at least try. He got you down there on that drive. Let him finish it. Yes, I did have him in a parlay, but that's not the point. It's our identity.
Yeah. And it also it was a rough game with a good outcome is the simple way to just sum this all up. Also, Zach Ertz was ruled out for the game after making a spectacular catch, by the way. Spectacular catch, but then ruled out with a concussion. So that's something to monitor for the team moving forward as well. And shout out to Terry McLaurin, 11 touchdowns on the season. Like, he has deserved this more than anybody else. Like, he has been awesome. He's been absolutely awesome. Any final thoughts here, Kid, up before we jump over to the NFC playoff race?
When we think about what's happening to the defense, especially in the fourth quarter of some of these stuff, I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Part of me thinks that maybe it's something as far as like maybe the offense is starting to stall out a bit, which is that like, and it starts, and then the guys start getting right on defense. But I thought the St. Juiced drive where he gets the was sort of an encapsulation of a lot of what's happening with the defense, which is like one bad thing happens on a third down and it just snowballs into something that's out of control.
Yeah.
Like the illegal hands to the face, they give up the third down conversion after we had a sack on that play. Great play. Would have ended the fucking. Then the Miller run, the Murrow catch, then a penalty on Fowler. But then you got to give Fowler credit for making up for it on the run
tackle
stuff.
For loss. Yep.
But they kick it, and it's like it's shit like that. It could just snowball. But I will say overall, as far as the game, the all 22 is going to be illuminating with me just because I'm angry that this game was so close against a team that I thought was so far inferior to us. But it could be just as simple as Dash being out so quick to kick off. He's a very integral part as far as what's happening with the protection scheme and as far as the run blocking. With him out, caused everything to go out of whack. And that's what we had to deal with. And if that's it, maybe the all-22 just shows that. Okay, not necessarily indictment on the rest of the season. But if they play like they did today.
Oh, no, I mean, they were in trouble, and everyone knows that. It's also got to be said. Sorry, barely able to talk today. Kendre Miller ended up doing pretty well in that fourth quarter. So when Alvin Kamara came off, 5 carries for 12 yards for Alvin Kamara. But Kendre Miller, 9 carries, 46 yards. So once they started handing him the ball, it really got going for the New Orleans Saints. And it helped Rattler out as well, who made a number of clutch plays. So
yeah, but the bigger thing for Kamara was out of the backfield as far as receiving.
Yeah. Yeah, hell of a catch.
That's like if he stayed out through that whole game and Ratner was able to hit him throughout. I don't know, man. I don't feel good about the outcome of that game.
Yeah,
It's the same thing I said last week as far as like them getting one-dimensional and Pollard not being able to eat us alive, right? There's some shit that still needs, like, there's some shit, man. We got to figure this shit out.
let's jump over to the NFC playoff race. Because now we are getting a clearer picture. We're recording this after the Packers beat the Seattle Seahawks. And so you can now take a look over here with the 6-7 seed. The Green Bay Packers still have control of that 6 seed. We are in the 7 seed. And now the LA Rams have jumped into the lead in the NFC West at 8-6, tied with the Seahawks right now. They played later, which means one of them is going to have 7 losses. And then if you look at the NFC South at the very bottom, Tampa Bay, big win against the LA Chargers. And they're in the driver's seat. The Atlanta Falcons play tonight against the Vegas Raiders. You'd expect them to win that game, of course, but that's the situation. And we are now in a position where I was looking at the schedules and the tiebreakers. It could be, and I'd need to confirm this one more time, but it could be as simple as you win the Falcons game and you're pretty much in. Because then you're at 10 wins. The other teams that would be a wild card, hoping for a wild card, would be at 7 losses. Because the Rams and Seahawks have to play. The loser would probably be there for the wild card spot, but we would have that tiebreaker over them. So now the Falcons game becomes like the game because they are also vying for a playoff spot. But that was my read on it. K-Dot, what do you make of the NFC playoff race here?
Yeah, I think Nathan is the one that runs the Rep the District Twitter. He did a whole scenario thing before the game.
Stoner runs the
Stoner runs the game.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad. Stoner wrote it out. He said if Green Bay wins, which they did, the only team that can catch Washington for the 7th seed is Atlanta. And they would have to go 4-0.
In reference to 10 wins being the magic number. Okay. Right. Yeah. Right. So there you
go. All of this assumes Washington wins at least one of their final 3 games.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Exactly. So win the Atlanta game. Simply put.
Win any of these. And fuck you, Tampa Bay. You pieces of shit. You're fucking my whole goddamn quarter.
Well, I mean, yeah, they came out and looked great, and they look like they're going to win that division. And it looks like they're going to be hot entering the playoffs as well.
Look, man, I'm proud of 2 predictions above all predictions going into this season. Rams and Steelers, your boy's on fire. That's it. All right. Even though Philly, these sons of bitches. Did you see the presser with Jalen?
No, I did not see the presser with Jalen, but I saw the clip with the quote, and so I haven't actually heard it. But yeah, Philly's doing.
So that's what y'all wanted, huh?
Yeah,
like, you fucking piece of shit. But even though the good side roll, did you see the coaches fight on the sideline?
No.
Jalen Carter beats the shit out of somebody, right? Basically in the game, he pushes and he goes. And Nick Sirianni, I think, wants to talk to him, but the defensive line coach blocks Sirianni from talking to him, and they start yelling at each other.
Oh,
the
wow.
vibes in Philly are great. Like, once again, most talented team in the NFL might even get a shot at getting this number 1 seed. And the only thing that can beat them is themselves, and I'm still predicting that to be the case.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's entirely possible, and we get to play them next. And the nice thing about each Sunday is that it's brand new. So the way we ended this game no longer matters. We're 9-5, and now we're able to play Philly 60 minutes of football at our place. I'm looking forward to it.
Look at those teams that are in the playoffs right now. Let's say nothing changes, right? Let's say this is the team. These are. Do you got us beating any of them?
Any of them? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Do I have us beating Philly or Detroit? No. But do I have us beating any of them? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Nope, lost it. Any final thoughts here? I mean, it was just a quick run through. I was also going to say you had quickly said win any of them. I don't know that is true because I think it literally needs to be the Atlanta game. If you beat Philly and then lose to Atlanta and Atlanta runs the table, right? Then you're both 10-7 And let's say you lose the Dallas one too, right? You're both 10-7, and they have the tiebreaker over you with Tampa winning the division. So I just wanted to put that out there as well. So I believe the Atlanta game is truly the game to win of that, if you're going to win one.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right. And with that, we're going to go over to the comment mailbag, where we are always introduced by our very own Nikki.
Comment mailbag time, motherfuckers. District divided, ain't got time for no suckers. Spread the word, get in line. OGs and new G's, it's your time. And spread the gospel, cause this shit is divine. Yeah.
And thank you as always for that intro, Nikki. We begin with Mr. Payne. Shout out, Mr. Payne. Love the song. Share this shit. Greatly appreciate that. Of course, K. Dot. Who did you request again? I've forgotten the name of the artist that you had spoken
Crimson Aurelia.
Crimson Aurelia. Oh, who crushed it. Absolutely crushed it with that song. And a lot of people really enjoyed it.
Yeah, you go over to Europe, it's everywhere. Every club, every taxi, like in the airport, it's all over the place.
That's a beautiful thing. We go over to Earl Bruce. Shout out. The bye came at the perfect time. Rested and rejuvenated, I'm ready for the final 4 weeks to play out. We're going to the playoffs. We're going to get bounced. We're going to sign some decent free agents. We're going to draft well. Then minicamp opens and we get to judge the next phase. It's nice to focus on normal football occurrences. K. Dot, your reaction?
I'm glad you were well rested. They weren't.
I think
or maybe they were. Maybe they were still rested.
A little too, a little too rested, perhaps. Bit of a flat performance on the whole.
Except for Jay, I still don't know what to make of this fucking game, man.
It was weird.
So weird.
I mean, even because I'm already reflecting on this episode, going, this episode was weird because that game was weird. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, it's just.
I feel like I'm angry, and I am.
But we won.
But I really do think Bia Dash had a lot to do with
I think it had an enormous impact.
But I think I'm also making excuses.
Yeah, I think both things are true.
Right?
That's why it feels weird. That's why it feels weird. We go to Blood Clot. Shout out Blood Clot. Here's the ironic thing about Greg Joseph. In 2018, on the Browns, he replaced Zane Gonzalez. And it was because Gonzalez missed 2 field goals and 2 extra points against, wait for it, the Saints. Zane was cut the next day and Joseph was signed. Joseph has a higher kicking percentage, 82.5%, and a long field goal kick of 61 yards. I hope we start him over Gonzalez and even Cyber going forward. Also, if Chase Young rushes wide like he tends to do, Jayden is going to punish them with his legs. And this could be a great opportunity for Luke. So that's the comment from Blood Clot. Kate, you're shaking your head. Go ahead.
You play soccer.
I do.
You can kick a ball.
Yes.
Why don't you start fucking trying out?
Maybe I will, honestly.
This shit is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
I'm fucking tired of it. This is a useless position, and they can't fucking execute. And I don't fucking get it. I don't understand it. I can't comprehend. You have one job. One. They don't ask you to do anything else. One job. Kick the ball through the thing. Just kick it through this. Just do that. You're not running wind sprints. You're not doing catching drills. You ain't doing the Oklahoma drill. You ain't doing none of that shit. You kick the ball through the things. Why can't you do that? Why can't you do that ever? And if you can't do that, why are you here? Why is anyone here that can't do that? And I'm looking at everyone across the league. Abolish kicking. This shit is so stupid.
We go over to Big Papa Grizzly.
Chase Young, congrats, son. You look
good.
Couple
sacks. Hey, you got some revenge. That was good for him. I'm just confirming it was a couple sacks. It was a couple sacks. Yeah, hey, good for Chase. Big Papa Grizzly with a tune over here. The Commanders' wide receiver room equals Terry and the Jags is the comment over there. K-Dot, your reaction to that? Yeah, I wasn't feeling adventurous enough to hit the high note, but I'm glad you did. I thought it was a great comment.
Yeah, it is, man, and it's very true today.
Terry and the Jacks. Yeah, because 7 catches, 73 yards, 2 touchdowns. The next closest, Olamide Zaccheaus, 3 catches, 36 yards. De'Ami Brown, 3 catches, 30 yards. Jamison Crowder immediately comes back, 3 catches, 27 yards. Yeah. And KJ Osborne was inactive. They're getting him up to speed. I would expect him to play against Philadelphia. Would I expect him to be second in snaps? No. I still think there's an onboarding process, but expect him to play. We go
Luke and Ben to be forced into these offenses.
I know. They each had a catch. Luke for 0 yards and Sinnott for 7. Hopefully they combine for 10 yards next week. Yeah. We go over to Eric Brown. K-Dot was gold this preview. Absolutely loved it. All the crying, laughing emojis. Really enjoyed it. K-Dot, your reaction?
I'm realizing that the more pain I'm in real life, the better I am on the pod. Don't know why that is.
I mean, I know why that is, but we go over to Eric Brown one more time.
Do you? Maybe I need to talk to you.
Oh, yeah. We can gladly dive into that sometime. The charts are epic. LMAO, just absolutely love the charts. D-Smoke also going, you're on another level with the charts, man. People love the charts. And one last one from D-Smoke. I'll let you react to all of them. Hey, another one. Thanks. Y'all sure helped get to Sunday. This has been a rough bye week. People were just missing Commanders football. So, K-Dot, your reaction to Eric Brown and D-Smoke showing some love.
I missed the bye week. I'd rather not have seen what I saw today, if I'm being completely honest. Although Jayden looks so good. All right. Yeah. What happened? I appreciate all the kind words. I'm actually, you know what? I guess we'll find out. But the goal of that, the entire charts and everything, was to get bitch assedness out of the comments. I want to know, is there any bitch assedness in the comment mailbag today?
I'm not seeing
No, you're goddamn right. You know why? Bitch assedness. Bitch assedness. He's afraid of my charts. Bitch.
I mean, it was quite the display. It was quite the display. I'm just confirming that I haven't missed any comments here. Oh, okay, cool. Good. Glad I did that. So we've got 3 more comments. They now all come post-game. Okay. So here's Mr. Payne post-game. Man, that was tight. What is going on with the defense in the fourth quarter? Football gods were on our side. So that's the comment from Mr. Payne. K-Dot, you agree? Football gods on our side?
I guess so. I mean, fuck yeah. But you know what? God's definitely on your side when you get rid of Satan. He's gone. He's in the Mediterranean on a yacht. The fucking bitch. So that's good. We exercise the big demon. Okay. So anything can happen now. It's always going to be more positive than it used to be. That's good. It's good. Yeah, man. The fourth quarter thing is the thing that I watch the All-22 every week. I don't have answers. I just know that it's one thing leads to another thing, and it snowballs completely out of control very quickly. I tried to, like, even during the game, while on every commercial break, while the third and fourth quarter, I'm like, all right, we might lose this thing. I'm pulling up the box score in all the other games, trying to see, like, how much did we score on offense? Like, did the offense stall out and it's just what's happening?
Yeah.
I can't even do that. That's not the problem. Like, I don't know what's going on as far as the defense in the fourth quarter. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, same here. Initially, I had the thought that, okay, it's not complimentary football. But then you look at the time of possession this time, and it's like, well, that certainly isn't it. Like, we had the ball. So it can't be a fatigue thing. So, something's going on, but very also curious to see.
This is what the NFL is like. If you don't end these guys, if you don't just end it, like, be up 3 or 4 scores because you can be. The league, there's too much parity in the league. You look at 2 drives like that, other teams back in it, man. You gotta bury these motherfuckers.
Yep. And we go over to Big Papa Grizzly. Coming in hot post game. I had to take a minute to let my heart rate come down. Call that game a take of 2 halves. Did Joe Witt Jr. just do no prep work for Spencer Rattler? Sitting at home, listening to the game, I knew the Saints would go to Rattler in the second half. I'll give you that first scoring drive. Okay, fine. He got one. Make adjustments. There is no reason why that game should have been that close. I know we aren't supposed to bitch about the refs because good teams succeed despite poor officiating, but fuck that. Not every call was egregious, I'll admit. But Jesus, tap dancing Christ on a cracker, how many free chances are you going to give to Blake Griffin's baby cousin? Now we come to Cliff. Hey, buddy, do you remember what the strength of your offense is? Running the fucking ball. You better count your blessings that Jesus Jayden Daniels blessed us with another beautiful performance, running all over that field like he was walking on water. Because without that, we don't even come close to winning this game. Shout outs to Oos, Mikey, and JD5, players of the game. Get out your reaction.
All 22 is going to be illuminating with what happened with the run game, too. Right now, I guess prevailing theory, it was Tyler not being there. It really ruined a lot. But I don't know, man. And I also know everybody's saying you want to do it more. And that's also weird for me just because, like, if you run it 30-something times the game, you'd say you probably ran it enough, right? But it's like, yeah, I mean, I'm all for a 40-run game. Like, I don't mind that. But it's like, I just didn't see them getting anywhere with it. My thing was like, I just didn't see rhythm on offense. And I think some of it was self-inflicted as far as like some of the penalties of the inopportune times and a sack that would come at an inopportune time, which has sort of been the prevailing thing with this offense all season long is like if they get into a down and distance that they're not comfortable with, everything kind of unravels, right? And it starts looking very, very uneven. My thing with the run, like the only thing that I'm squarely looking at as far as the run is at that goal line and you're rolling out. Like, I'm just like, I at least want to see it try it once.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how I feel about going forward on fourth down. Like, to me, is like, if you run it, also another thing that, like, I've never personally been a fan. I know I've been looking at it all season. I don't like running out of shotgun. I've never have. I'm not a fan of that. I like under center more than I like running out of shotgun. Like, there's a delayed handoff that happened in this game, and I'm like, that shit just looks sloppy to me.
Yeah. No, the other thing about running out of shotgun is it's not always vertical. Right? Whereas, yeah, you know, you're going a little left, a little right, and sometimes you just want to be able to quickly hit the hole and go down the middle. And it doesn't seem like we always get that opportunity out of shotgun. It's a read, and the back is going to the left or Jayden's going to the right, but that vertical push, it doesn't appear to be there. So just to your point, I agree with you there. It would be nice to be able to get under center.
Like, I'm all for having some of it and diversifying your running, right? But it's like, just like you're in a goal line situation, line up and go. Like, in those sort of situations, put Sennett in his fullback. I don't give a fuck. Like, let's go. We feel the happiest, and I think this team feels happiest when we're just punching people in the mouth. And when I saw that, I'm like, why aren't you running it? Because we're going for it on fourth down, right? We're going for it on fourth down, right? And it was like, no, because now you took the loss, and now it's a longer thing. You don't trust this guy, and it's all bullshit now.
Yeah. We conclude with just Santa.
Uh-oh.
My takeaways from the Saints game. Are you fucking kidding me right now? Going into the half was clear sailing. Defense was playing lights out. The offense was methodically moving down the field, and everything was lovely. Then comes the second half, and the defense forgot how to stop the run and cover slants. Then the offensive line became a turnstile. Give the Saints credit. Their defense was on point all game, and the quarterback change really shook up our defense. The offense should have stuck with the run more since the Saints pass rush was getting home. We need to see more Rodriguez. He had an excellent interview on the Players Club. De'Ami Brown showed some flashes. Brian Robinson played hard as always. Jayden played a fantastic game. Ertz had an excellent catch that led to a concussion. We are about to see what the Senator is all about. Chin had a concussion as well. It's a shame. He's been the happiest I had ever seen him, too. He was mad at the world when he first came to Washington. Reminded me of how DJ Moore looks in Chicago. Chin is a fantastic tackler and blitzer, a true box safety. Lacks a little in coverage. In comes Defoe. I've wanted to see what he looks like in Witt's system. Unfortunately, it came at Chin's expense. The two penalties called on Fowler were Bush League. Payne, Armstrong, and as always, Luvu and Sainristil had good play on the defensive side. Lattimore wasn't even targeted, which speaks volumes. This defense has been struggling against the run in second halves of games all season. Witt addressed it in his last presser, but yet it continues. Need to shore that up before Barkley comes to town next weekend. I can't believe Allen might return this season. I never thought that would happen. He's always been good against the run. Well, boys, we're 9-5 regardless. Better to learn the tough lessons while winning. On to the Sheagles, self-destructive asses. Here we go, Steelers. Love the show. Share this shit. It's the comment from Jess. Kid, your reaction.
So, as you were reading Jess's comment, I started looking through some of the stuff. Like I was looking at the box score of the game, or at least the scoring, and you see 14 points scored in the first half, and then 6 scored in the second half. And we look at the stat line as far as what's going on with like Jayden Daniels, right? And you're like, okay, like he had a good game. I still look at this game as more of a colossal failure on the offense, not executing and killing them when they needed to kill them. Like to me, it's, and I get it, it's inexcusable in the fourth quarter to give up 12 points, I guess, but it's like to know at the end of the day, like I still go back to the first half. To me, all I saw was Jake Haener is bad. He's really bad. Like that's all I saw was like he's really bad. Because like Rattler comes in there, it's not like he fucking went off 10 of 21. The fucking like what? Like 10 of 21, 135 yards. Like
I will say, I thought he played well. I know it felt a little fluky, but like, yeah,
I get it. But that's what I'm saying is like to me, it's like because you didn't do what you need to do to run up the score on these assholes.
Agreed.
It's in the NFL. 2 scores ain't fucking hard, man. It ain't hard. It ain't that hard to score twice. It's just not. Like I get it. It ain't that hard.
No, this actually it's beginning to click with me what this game felt like. It felt a bit like the Dallas game. Just the second half of that slow, like, oh, if this game had a little more time to it, we'd be screwed. If the 2-point conversion goes the other way, we lose. That's how close it was. It came down to the very last play of this game. That's why there's such a weird taste in our mouths right now. It was the New Orleans Saints starting Jake Haener and going to Spencer Rattler, and it came down to the very last play of the game. It's disappointing off of a bye. That's just the fact. The offense only put up 20 points. There were 3 different opportunities to Terry, 2 of which were walk-in touchdowns, no one around him. One, Jayden slightly overthrew, and the other one, Terry slowed down a little bit, and it would have just been money. So, like, there were just enough moments where we were out of sync offensively. It leads to 20 points. That's too low a total. That is too low a total. And then on defense, the second half of games, I like what Jess Santos said about the run defense in the second half. That is true because we talked about Kendre Miller going off in the second half. That is something that we need to see improvement on. If Jonathan Allen is able to come back, that would be huge. I've seen a lot of mixed reactions to him potentially coming back. I think that's bullshit. I think if you can get a Jonathan Allen back, you take Jonathan Allen back. We need him because right now, I think, Jess, you planted a seed to me. The second half of games, we cannot stop the run. And initially I thought it was fatigue. I don't know what it is. Maybe we're not making adjustments and the other teams are. I have no idea. But that is real. That's going to be something I look into, kid. Any final thoughts before we wrap up here?
I'm gonna watch the All-22 on this one, and I'll see what I see. But yeah, it's just the what if game, which is always a scary game to play. What if Tyler Biadasz played?
I think it looks different. I really do think it looks different, and I think we did learn. And I'm gonna look around and see if this is true. If he's the one calling out the protections, because 8 sacks is crazy.
But my next what if? What if Spencer Rattler starts the game and Alvin Kamara doesn't get hurt?
Oh, I mean, well then I think if we're playing the what if, we probably lose.
Do we lose by a lot? Do we lose by? Does it look like the Cowboys game? Like, what does it look like?
No, because then I do think that there's a sense of urgency that we probably play with, and we end up losing a close one.
Okay.
That's my thought. But
I'm not
interesting
necessarily, I disagree with you, but it's just, I don't like, I don't like just sneaking by some of these guys, especially when you had a half of some of the worst quarterback play I've seen this season. I don't like, the taste, it's leaving a really, really bad taste in my mouth.
We ended up getting away with one on the road. And that was
Philly.
Seriously, on to Philly. This was the show. This was District Divided, DC Sports Podcast, more specifically a Washington Commanders podcast. Thank you guys for listening to. A reminder, we won the game. I know we're sounding disappointed. We did
won the game. Playoffs is pretty much locked up.
Yeah, we're in a strong spot for the playoffs. Just need to, that Atlanta game in particular, you win that, and I think it's like a near impossible scenario to miss. But I'm Amit. That is K-Dot. Thank you guys for listening. And if you enjoyed it, and if you want to push back, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do, and K-Dot.
Generally share this shit, but I don't know about this episode.
Yeah, I actually agree. I don't know about this episode either, but we appreciate you guys staying with us.
All 22, good one to share.
That is going to be awesome. I can't wait to hear what you have to say for that. So we will see you guys Friday, 2 p.m. as always. So until then, take it easy.
Bye, everybody.
In DC, we're just hoping that you listen.